and let us all do we can to build a better future. All right, so it's breaking right now. Attorney General William Barr from the Trump administration will be resigning.
You could say he got disbarred.
Daniel, and because of that, we just lost everybody.
Sorry, guys. It's my fault.
And speaking of which, too, this is another breaking story as well. We are now past 25,000 subscribers, and it's been an uphill journey. We cannot thank you guys enough for all your support. With that being said,
I actually have one more. E. Heller says pumpkin soup was better when it was reheated.
Okay. So, well, then there we go.
That in there.
Now, let's move on to this next story. And this is something that we did promise to follow up on. And this has to deal with Representative Tulsi Gabbard and her recent bill for women's sports athletes. And there's many people in the transgender community that are upset about this as well. And Tulsi Gabbard has gone on the record saying that the bill is not transphobic. And she recently did a video on Twitter. Let's play just a few minutes of this video. And we'll pause it, and then we'll both give our responses to it.
I hope that you're all doing well on this beautiful Sunday. I just want to take a moment to talk to you about Title IX and some recent legislation that I introduced. You may know Title IX is a historic provision created in 1972 that was based on the recognition of a biological distinction between men and women, and to make sure that women and girls have equal opportunities, especially as it relates to competitive sports. Now, it was specifically created as a carve-out to existing anti-discrimination laws that not only allowed, but actually required educational institutions who receive federal money to provide separate programs and opportunities for females based on biological sex, recognizing this is the only way for girls and women to achieve equality in competitive sports. Now, in today's world, decades later, this is something that we may take for granted, but its enactment in 1972 led to a massive generational shift that positively impacted countless girls and women. If you look back to the days before Title IX, there was really no such thing as competitive female sports. Maybe intramural leagues, but that was about it. Female athletes didn't get any funding from their schools for things like travel if they wanted to compete, and had to sell cookies or wash cars to raise money for their bus tickets. They could only use the basketball court if the boys weren't using it. After winning 2 gold medals in the 1964 Olympics, a swimmer named Donna De Verona, she could not obtain a college swimming scholarship because for women at that time, there was no such thing. So Title IX changed everything. And Donna went on to become the first president of the Women's Sports Foundation, where she's talked about the fact that since 1972, since Title IX, because of increased funding and institutional opportunities, there's been a 545% increase in the percentage of women playing college sports and a 990% increase in the percentage of women playing high school sports. Before Title IX, 1 in 27 girls played sports, and today, that number is 2 in 5. Title IX made it so that schools could not discriminate between boys and girls, men and women, in both academics and sports, and it created life-changing opportunities for girls and women.
So there's a few more minutes into that video, and Tulsi Gabbard goes into detail about Title IX. And look, here's the thing. Everyone's focusing on Title IX and this bill. And, just a quick reminder, Tulsi Gabbard, at least in this current Congress and by corporate media, is considered a pariah. Nothing's going to happen with this bill. And Tulsi Gabbard did go on the record. There's an article by the New York Post, as well as a few other articles saying that, look, this is not transphobic. This is just calling out women's issues and women in sports. Now, I understand this is a very sensitive issue for a lot of people. And, I think we need to take a step back and look at, okay, this is a conversation. I just personally wish that Tulsi Gabbard, if she was going to continue on with this, would have stayed in Congress then, because her walking out, it kind of puts a little bit of a tarnish on her record, and everyone's going to be focusing on this Title IX bill, all while ignoring all the previous bills that she's been introducing, such as stimulus checks, UBI, Medicare for all, ending regime change wars. I mean, those are being ignored and swept under the rug. And now, of course, right off the bat, none of those bills were going to pass either, because, again, it's got Tulsi Gabbard's name on it. No one in the GOP or Democratic Party is going to go ahead and line with it, maybe a handful. But this is a conversation that I think she should be carrying on if she was still in Congress. And I think that really tarnishes her record and reputation. But I'm not going to go around canceling Tulsi Gabbard. I just think this was a bad time to bring up a bill like this. And it hurts a lot of people, women, people in the transgender community. But this is a conversation that needs to be expanded. I know other people have talked about this, most notably Joe Rogan, and he's gone into detail about his opinions. And I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Joe Rogan, but in the realm of sports, and especially right now at the height of COVID-19, you know, I don't think we're going to be having this conversation about sports or packed arenas anytime soon. And if the numbers keep rising up, it's kind of going to be a phantom at this point. But we got to I think that this is a bigger conversation. I just wish it wasn't the last minute of 2020. And I think that's an issue. I think a lot of people are hurt or confused about what was really behind Title IX.
Yeah, so we've covered Tulsi pretty extensively. Like if you weren't here when we really started on that was back during the election. A lot of our coverage on Tulsi was basically someone blatantly lied about this, that, or the other with her. And if you go back, that was a lot of the bulk of our coverage about a year ago. And Tulsi has a pretty interesting set of issues that we both very much like and very much have some issues with. But what we liked about her, it actually is exemplified poorly in this example. But what is that? She always goes with what she feels is right. Whether, you can argue about whether or not what she feels is right is indeed right. She always goes with her heart, and she does genuinely evolve as a person, but she also doesn't seem to care about what people think about her or positioning herself in a way to do those kind of things. And this very much fits that definition that we come to expect with Tulsi. This is a bill that I feel like it's not something I'm super familiar in, but it's something that feels like there's still a lot of discussion in the culture of what should even be done. Do we expand Title IX into additional things? Do we break down into different groups? Do we combine everything together? That's not really my spot. I'm neither a sports guy nor really a
spectator.
I'd say I'm a spectator on a lot of these subjects. But Tulsi, here's the thing. Here's really what it comes down to for me. There are people dying of a virus. There are people that are about to get kicked out of their home. There are people that do need Medicare for all. There are people that need a UBI. There are people that need jobs guarantees. There are people that need to trust their government. This is not the time to put a bill like this out. That's the long and short of it for me. This is not the right time. Regardless of how you think of this bill, whether you're on one side or the other, doesn't matter to me. It's not the time. No one's even in school right now. Everyone's remote. And on top of that, like I said, no one's in sports stadiums. So I'm not sure who you're trying to impress or who you're trying to push something forward when you put a bill like this on your way out, a bill that you know will not pass through in the time that you're there. It just seems like it's a blatant waste of PR. But again, Tulsi doesn't really care about PR. So if she felt that this is one thing she could do before she left, I guess that's what she decided to do. It just seems like there are more important things to talk about, and this might not be the thing that you want to leave Congress with the opinion of, because there's already enough people that don't like you for perceived attacks. Yeah, it just seems like a pointless thing to do at the last minute during a crisis, talking about people who aren't even active in a sport because we're all at home.
Yeah. And again, look, I'm more angry with Tulsi, signing that sacred document by the DNC saying they're all going to endorse whoever the nominee is going to be. That angers me because it's just, again, Biden. I call out the legitimacy of his election because, we don't have election integrity in this country. I'm not going to cancel anybody. I don't believe in cancel culture. So, it's kind of a thumbs down moment. But at the end of the day, Tulsi Gabbard is going to do what she's going to do, and she's on her way out of Congress. And I think those that are saying that Tulsi Gabbard is this evil person, you're stretching. You're stretching and you're losing me. And I'm not buying that Tulsi Gabbard's a bad person.
She's going to do what she's going to do.
I've seen bad people before in my lifetime, legitimate bad people.
She doesn't come off as a Mitch McConnell. She comes off as someone who's kind of running her own show.
Yep.